You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hey guys, and welcome to Triviality. This is one of our Patreon bonus episodes. And as Usher once said, it's 7 o'clock on the dot, and we're recording a crop drop. That's how I'm introducing this. This is the first one. This one's going out in the free feed. And I really hope you enjoy this because after this, it's going to the Patreon exclusive feed. So if you love what you're hearing on this, just make sure you sign up on patreon.com. Joining me today is Neil, Ken, and Jeff. How are you guys doing?
Good. Are you saying this is like a free sample?
This is a little taste.
Amuse-bouche.
This is on the main feed we're talking about? This is so people can hear what goes on Patreon after dark?
Yeah, things get a little crazy. We've, had a couple of non-alcoholic beers probably from the three of you, more or less.
Ken and I have been pounding decaf coffee, so you know it's going to be a crazy night.
Nah, Neil's got those Heineken Zeros over there.
Zima all the way.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. It's kind of an Ask Me Anything. You guys, I post a thread in the crop. You guys ask us questions, and we just go through and answer them. So anything you guys want to hear, any kind of questions, just feel free to ask them. But, we couldn't do this without our Patreon supporters. So joining us to ask some of these questions is Patreon supporter at her own special $15 level that she made up is Kendall Portillo. How are you doing, Kendall?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me on your inaugural episode.
It's a pretty big deal. We just got done getting our butts kicked by your game. We had a lot of fun. I don't think that one has probably aired yet when this comes out. So this is a little bit of tease for episode probably a couple of weeks from now.
Right. And if anyone is wondering why I'm on, it's because I refused to leave their Skype chat. So they decided to give me a job.
We begged her to leave.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of Netflix, this is season 3 of the show You, but it's starring Kendall.
That's right. Catch me on Netflix.
We actually asked her dog Rocky to host, but he was a little camera shy. So unfortunately, he will not be joining us, but he is in the background. We're going to post some pictures on Instagram. Just send us over those. We'll just post that. The official dog of Triviality.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. And he said he's very honored.
Now, is he an underdog just like Balboa?
He is. Actually, when I rescued him, he had he had a swollen face, and he still has an asymmetrical face because he got in a fight with a pack of dogs when he was a puppy. So he really is a true underdog. He's so cute. He's the best.
I can't tell if that's true or an extended Rocky metaphor.
Yeah, no, that's why we named him Rocky, for real. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can't wait for 4 years when he gets a robot butler or whatever happened in Rocky 4.
I'm just waiting for him to turn into Michael B. Jordan, honestly.
And then Pluto Ventimiglia will play his son in a movie.
I heard a really great joke about Michael B. Jordan where somebody said, I hope that there's an actor named Scottie B. Pippen who's slightly worse than Michael B. Jordan. Which kind of cracked me up a bit.
So, Matt, you said you had an email to start us off, right?
Yeah, I believe, Matt, Tamara O'Brien reached out to us, the first person to email when you asked for examples for the crop drop. So we thank her for that. Because as Matt, I think you posted on the crop, you said not a lot of people actually emailed, which was the instruction, but they just commented, which is okay.
Yeah, I think it's because they already have the Facebook open and they don't want to click on over to your Gmail. It's very complicated, so I understand. But Tamara O'Brien did send us with a whole bunch of questions, so I'm going to kind of get these out to you guys. You guys ready?
We are ready.
So the first one, what podcast do you all listen to? What podcast do you listen to? Jeff will start. I know he's a big podcast guy.
It's this one now. It's our podcast. I haven't listened to a podcast in like 4 months. one of my favorite shows, Hello Internet, went off the air. They went inactive in March.
Oh, they did? The one with all the cool logos you showed me?
Yeah, and like, I have no idea what's going on there. I don't really follow them on social media or anything. So
Jeff's completely dropped off.
I was listening to Office Ladies until 2 weeks ago when they put up a 2-hour episode, and I went, that's the final straw. So
It's gotten a little aggravating, to be honest.
well, there's a lot of stuff about like, oh, on the commentary track, or like this deleted scene which is on the DVD, and it's like, well, yeah, I watched all that stuff already. So I mean, the nice thing is they have connections in the industry and they can reach out to cast and get interviews, but yeah, other than that, there really isn't much appeal for me. So it's kind of sad because I had a lot of high hopes for that show, but it's not for me.
I used to listen to podcasts, not really anymore. I was listening to Script Notes, Children of Tendu, their screenwriting podcasts. But really the only thing I've been listening to recently is a podcast called The Moment, hosted by Brian Koppelman. He's a screenwriter. He's a co-creator of Billions. He wrote Rounders and Ocean's 13. It's a really, really good podcast, though. Because he doesn't limit his guests to people in the entertainment world, and he's a fantastic interviewer. He used to work in the music business. He has a lot of really great musicians on. If you are a film fan, he has a wonderful interview with Christopher McQuarrie, the Oscar-winning screenwriter of oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. I'm going to come back to it. But he also did the Mission Impossible 5 and 6. But he has a great interview with him, and then Tony Gilroy, a bunch of other people, some movers and shakers, chefs, restaurateurs, all that kind of stuff. So
Sounds cool.
Yeah, so it's called The Moment. Usual Suspects. There we go. Thank you.
And as for me, one of the kind of outside ones that I like is Beautiful Anonymous. Don't listen to it all the time because I think it's a little better in small doses. But basically, Chris Gethard, the comedian, has guests call in at random, and they just talk about whatever for exactly 1 hour. And Chris is not allowed to hang up. So it's kind of a slice of life. Can be interesting, sometimes not so interesting. So it's kind of got a little variance there, but it's a really interesting concept. So I'll just throw that one out there for today.
I just really love all the trivia podcasts out there. So,
There you go.
Quiz, Bang, Bang, Misinfo, Trivial Warfare, The Benchwarmers, others, Quadrivia, right? From our friend Jason Borsum.
You didn't complete the list there, Matt.
When we started, there weren't that many trivia podcasts, but there's so many great ones out there now. So shout out to all of them. Put in the good work.
Trivia Rogues, Trivia, the Trivia Show. I don't know if that one's real, but it could be.
And Escape the Pod.
How about you, Kendall?
Oh, my favorite podcast, aside from yours, of course, is called Doughboys, and it's two comedians, Mike Mitchell and Nick Weiger, and they review chain restaurants. And they have a really good love-hate relationship with each other and just make fun of each other the whole time and kind of talk Hollywood because they're both actors and writers. But it's really, really, really funny.
Nice. Sounds good.
All right, next question.
Who's your dream guest to have on the show?
Well, for me, I want to do another Battle of the Bands, and we did one Battle of the Bands pretty early on, and I kind of want to do another one, but I kind of want to get a couple of my favorite bands on here, but we'll just hold off on that.
Yeah, for me, it's tough because I want to go someone in the film world, but I mean, it's not really trivia.
Steven Spielberg.
Well, yeah, obviously Spielberg. He doesn't do a lot of interview stuff like that, but I'm going to refrain from saying anyone entertainment-wise.
Because we're working on it, right?
Because we're working on it. But I think in the trivia world, since that's what we do, I think Ben Bailey would be really, really fun.
Ooh, yeah. I like that answer.
Ben Bailey's a solid choice. Along the same lines, I was thinking it'd be really fun. Ken Jennings seems like he's pretty funny, pretty witty, so it'd be a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say Guy Fieri. Because he'd be the most fun to have on the show.
Yeah.
Gangster.
Hey, we should reach out. I mean, we'll help him do a fundraiser. He's sending money to where it needs to go.
Yeah, you could bring Flavortown to our show. I would appreciate it. And the last question is, what's a highly or frequently recommended movie that you finally watched and hated? Confession, I hate It's a Wonderful Life. That's terrible.
I can see that. I get that. Actually, speaking of Jimmy Stewart, Vertigo didn't do it for me. Actually, most Hitchcock movies don't do it.
Yeah, you don't like Hitchcock. Yeah, you just can't appreciate his artistry. That's all.
Yeah, I guess
you can't quantify in your brain.
Yeah, no, I'm too too normie.
Yeah.
But no, I'm gonna go with there's a couple like kids classics that I probably just watched too late and didn't click with me. For example, The Goonies.
Oh, I was gonna say The Goonies. I don't get
The
it.
Goonies sucks.
It wasn't recorded when we had a conversation with my friend Justin Shady, but you said you hate movies with kids and boats, right?
Yeah, Kids and Boats. Not my favorite movies.
Like Hook?
No, Hook's okay. Hook's okay.
This is a tough one for me. I don't really hate movies. And it sounds I don't mean to sound pretentious, but Paul Thomas Anderson had a really good answer to this question. Being a filmmaker and like making stuff, he said he knows how much hard work goes into making movies, and he says that movie's not for me. I don't hate it, but it's just not for me. So there's a lot of movies that are not for me, and I can't think of one off the top of my head. The only one I almost walked out of was the one with the Kevin Spacey was replaced in for All the Money in the World. Almost walked out of that one. Ridley Scott,
What about K-Pax?
I rented K-Pax from Blockbuster.
For some reason, the first one that comes to mind that I hated, because I love fantasy, is Aragon. I just hated that movie. I just could not stand that movie.
But nobody liked that one. Who's recommending that one? You liked it?
No, I hated it.
Okay. Well, there you go. The question was, what's a highly recommended movie? And you're like, Aragon sucks. Everyone said so.
I don't have any highly recommended movies. I get good source material here from Ken and Neil. So pretty much every movie that's been recommended to me is a good movie.
Matt, you got one?
No, I don't ever watch movies. And when I do, I turn my brain off and I don't care what I'm watching. Cop and a Half was bad. I don't know if that means anything.
Well, I'll throw this one out here really quick, and then we'll move on to the next question. As Neil was saying, I think Wes Anderson is one of the greatest living filmmakers right now, based on his style, but he is not for me.
Oh, that's an interesting take. Yeah,
I love him.
I mean, I think he's great. I think he's a great filmmaker, but he's not to my taste.
There's a lot of filmmakers like that. I think in his oeuvre, Darjeeling Limited, it didn't do anything for me. But I like him a lot. I think he's great.
All right. So we got some more questions here from others, right?
Mm-hmm. And I have sent those over to Kendall to pepper us with questions. So take it away, Kendall.
All right. This question is from Kate Hagerman. When is the next season of Bloodsport? I'd like to know this as well.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. We want to do it. We're maybe slightly different this year, just to make it a little bit easier on the back end, so we can get it out quicker, right?
Yeah.
The hardest part of Bloodsport is the video portion, because there's a lot of moving parts. Whether it's using Skype, which is sometimes unreliable, our guests, there's internet connectivity, sound, things like that. But if we can focus all our energy on the audio portion of it, which seems to be where people like to land when they listen to it, then I think it can make for a much better experience.
Yeah. So maybe this year.
No,
probably.
definitely this year. I think we can definitely knock it out by the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe a little later this year than per usual, but all the pieces are in place, as they say.
Yeah, but it's definitely looking like the amount of work it takes to put into the video for, unfortunately, nobody to really say they have the time to watch it just doesn't make sense.
Well, I was telling Neil actually that when I first started listening to your podcast, Bloodsport came out like a few months later, I believe, and watching you guys on video was actually what got me into your podcast and being able to finally differentiate the voices. And I loved it, and I love Ryan.
So now that we've made a firm decision of no video, here we hear that the video is of the utmost importance. So we will consider that.
I mean, if you want more, great subscribers like me, then I say yes. But otherwise, I mean, do what you do.
Well, the answer is, for all you patrons out there, just stay tuned, because we're going to be probably looking to staff the Bloodsport very soon.
Yes, and as you know, it comes from Patreon supporters that we do a random drawing. We just pick 8 names, I believe we'll still do this year. I think 8 was last year, and we'll see who's going to compete.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Next question is from Eric Walling. What is the worst celebrity encounter you've ever had? He says, pardon if you've already been asked. I'd like to answer this one too.
Go ahead. You want to start?
Is it Ron Artest?
It is. I already told Matt this story.
I love this story.
In 2016, Meta World Peace, Ron Artest, basketball player, posted, he was still on the Lakers at the time, but he posted on Twitter that he was going to be having a rap show in Temecula, California, which is a couple hours south of me. And I retweeted it and tagged my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, and I said, let's go. Meta World Peace then retweets me, starts following me, and then got into my DMs, slid into my DMs, and said, did you come to the show? And I said, oh, no, I didn't come to the show. I had a party to go to. And he said, why did you flake? Like I had committed to going to this rap show or something. But I said, I'm so sorry. I couldn't get there, whatever I said. But then he was like, just replied in a one-word fashion and was like, selfie. So
classic Meta World Peace, you guys.
Yeah. So I looked at my husband and I said, what should I do? And he's just like the biggest Laker fan you could ever imagine. He was like, keep the conversation going. So I did send him a selfie. And then it was a picture of me dressed as a cat for Halloween. And all he said back was cat. And I said, meow. And then he said, another selfie. And then I sent him another one.
A very thirsty man.
I know. I sent him another one, and I was just like, I don't know. My husband was ready to pimp me out for sure to get Lakers tickets or something. But that's as far as it went. And then a couple years later, I DM'd him when I was like intoxicated at my bachelorette party, but he didn't respond.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that's the best and worst celebrity encounter I've had, I think.
It's the DM version of Indecent Proposal almost. Jeez.
Right.
Well, I know Matt's had a couple celebrity encounters.
Yeah, but most of them have been pretty pleasant, to be honest.
Don't you love that when they're mostly pretty pleasant?
Yeah. Tyler, the Creator, was very nice. I think Tim Meadows was pretty great. Doc Rivers gave me some good advice. So
right.
They've all been positive. I haven't run into the jerks out here in Hollywood yet. So
every time I'm in LA, I almost every other time I should say I've seen Tim Meadows driving. It's so random.
That's all he does. He just drives
Always
around.
on the road.
Like everyone, yeah.
I will say that John Lovitz cut me off once. So yeah, that was the worst.
Eat my dust.
It stinks.
So Neil, I imagine you probably don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but you had a pleasant encounter with a celebrity on a skateboard, right?
A pleasant encounter with... Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, that was recently. Yeah, one of the other trips I went to L.A. I was staying with Matt. I was outside the La Brea Tar Pits with Colleen, and I saw a kid skateboarding, and I was like, oh, he looks really familiar, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it's Jaden Martell from Knives Out and It. Yeah, went up to him. It was him, and he's like, hey, man, nice to meet you, and talked to me for a couple minutes. It was really cool. He's just like, yeah, I'm just practicing my moves out here, and I got a movie I got to film. And this was before Knives Out, and he was like, I have to go film a detective story. And I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I hope it goes well. And that ended up being Knives Out, which was cool.
Turned out pretty well.
Yeah, turned out well for him. I don't really have any. I think I've already said on the podcast, but I had a bad experience with Kevin Spacey. But
yeah, you could throw him under the bus. That's fine.
Yeah,
he's already mangled by the wheel. So
yeah,
Jeff doesn't have any really.
I don't think I've ever really met.
You're related
someone.
to two celebrities.
Kind of.
I mean, sort of, like low key.
Who?
Well, two of my cousins have played professional football, so.
We'll leave it at that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I won't name drop them.
We'll leave it at that. As for me...
Jared Culver of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Very strong family resemblance.
As for me, I've spent 10 years of my life working at JBTV, which is a music TV show here in Chicago. And I've interacted with and videotaped many, many bands. Most of them super nice. And I was part of one very awkward interview with one of my very favorite musicians, so that one kind of stuck out to me, but I will not disclose who that was because I still like them, and it wasn't really anybody's fault.
All right, let's change the question before we get in trouble.
Okay, I just want to say that Andy Dick was coming out of a concert right in front of me, and he threw up in front of me. Anyway.
That I believe.
Yeah. Tamara O'Brien asks, what podcast? Oh, yeah. What podcast would you like to be a guest on? She has a follow-up question.
Okay.
What reality competition show do you think you could win?
None of them, probably.
Yeah. Is there one that's about being like super annoying? I'm pretty sure I could do well at that.
Survivor.
That was like every VH1 reality show from 2004 to 2009.
I actually would really like to be on a reality show, and for two reasons. Probably like Real World, Big Brother, that kind of thing. Because I am inherently not a conniving person or anything like that. I'm very, very nice, which isn't good for reality TV. But I've studied reality TV, and I know how I can bend all of them to my will and get them all eliminated.
Sociopath.
Because I would talk in the interview way too much, so they'd have to put me on TV, and I would just be an so they'd have to put me on TV and get the fans behind me, and then I'd win.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good strategy for sure.
I would pick The Circle because I love The Circle, and I just want to catfish people. I think that's so fun. I used to do it a lot when I was 17, so let's do it again.
I'm not saying I would win this reality show, but the other day I was thinking about it for some reason. But Beauty and the Geek, how about that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Bring that back. That was a great show.
And then midway through, they brought in all the hot guys.
Didn't Ashton Kutcher host it? Or he was like a creator or something?
Yeah,
he was on the first episode
yeah.
and was like, I'm out.
I wouldn't mind being like a judge on a cooking show.
I could see you doing that. This is not cooked properly.
This is not good.
But I don't like do anything by my palate. I'm like grabbing like a thermometer and I'm like, this chicken is slightly undercooked. It's 158 degrees.
Technically. Looking for technicalities in
the
dish.
I've got like pH measurements going.
Oh man.
There's not enough acidity in this dish.
I would not like to watch that. I'm going to be honest.
I was promised a chocolate ganache.
Yes. As for podcast guests, I would be on Dropping the Gloves with John Scott because I just want to talk with John Scott a little bit about hockey.
I've
That'd
never
be
heard of
fun.
that.
I thought you would pick Escape This Podcast because you didn't get to be on with us.
That's
and it
true.
really-
I really do want to be on Escape This Podcast.
I would love to be on How Did This Get Made? That's what I would want to be on.
Yeah, and I would pick We Hate Movies in a similar vein because I really enjoy that one. They seem to hate the same movies that I do, which is all of them.
All right, next. This comes from Matthew Cosme.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Matt.
What's everyone's favorite video game or video game series? Question mark.
Favorite? That's a tough one.
This is really tough. Can I do a top three? Let's do top three.
I'll do a thing I never do, and I will definitively pick a thing.
Oh, okay.
Exciting.
Final Fantasy VII has a special place in my heart. It's phenomenal. Ocarina of Time and BioShock series.
Yeah, those are good. I go with Final Fantasy VII. I played that one in the remake probably more than any, and just Final Fantasy series in general, because I know that I played 10, 9, and 8 probably hundreds of hours too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to the extent of my nerdness as far as video games, because I mostly stick to Madden and 2K outside of that.
I mean, they're fun. Madden's a good fun. But
it's a good fun.
It's a good fun. It's funny. I was going to say Super Smash Brothers
64.
But as soon as I wanted to lock that in, I went, nope, Elder Scrolls, because Skyrim,
hundreds of hours.
Skyrim, Morrowind, several others have eaten up months of my entire life, and I quite enjoyed that. So,
I'm not really a gamer. I mean, I guess I kind of was when I was a kid, but mine are all based on life areas or events. So when I was very little, my game of choice was Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle on Game Boy. I was obsessed with just the straight up Super Mario Brothers, which from there and then post college, I tried to beat it in like 7 minutes, and I became obsessed. That's kind of what happens with me. I become obsessed about something until I beat it or finish it, and then I move on. And then college was Halo. Played with the whole dorm against like 12-year-olds, and I got way too animated. And then finally, I was obsessed with L.A. Noire to beat that.
Oh, that's an amazing game.
Neil is a man of culture.
It's funny you should say the getting obsessed thing because I tried to beat Kirby's Dream Land on NES for like 4 years when I was a kid. And then for some reason, like 2 years ago on your classic NES system on a random New Year's Eve, I was like, F it, I'm beating this game.
Oh, that's the night that I got blackout drunk and missed work the next day.
That was a good time.
Matt was not playing any games.
I brought some of the barrel-aged Goose Island beer that I forgot was like 14% alcohol by content. It had like 4 of them. I was like, I only had 4 beers. What's wrong with me?
Bye, Matt.
Kendall, do you play video games?
I don't. I guess I would pick Mario Kart if I had to answer. But in college, I would play Call of Duty with one of my friends, Cameron. And he was like too embarrassed to have me play under his screen name because I was so bad that he was just like, okay, like you got to give that to me. Like, just stop, please.
Call of Duty.
How funny is the emergence of online gaming where like you let a friend, like Kendall was saying, play, but you always had to go on the mic and go, it's my friend, it's not me. Don't take it out on me.
Yeah.
He did that all the time, literally. Yeah. And it was really embarrassing for him. But his like screen name was Meatwad, so I feel like that is way more embarrassing.
That was like every 12 year old, you play like a girl.
I don't play like a girl.
It's better. Thank you. It's better than Shake, so.
Yeah,
Next
but definitely
question.
Mario Kart. Okay. Well, this is still Matthew Cosme, maybe. Sorry, Matthew. Favorite band, and he also says favorite movie.
Oh God, these are
Answer
like
all of them.
these are the big questions too. It's like, I don't know.
You should have expected these when we started an AMA, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, we're not good at planning things.
Okay.
So-
I will default back to top 3 because I'm not gonna choose. This is rude. Favorite band. There's always gonna be a special place in my heart for BNL.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Just gonna
Oh
be.
my God.
What?
Wait, really?
Oh yeah.
They're Juno winners.
What?
Oh, is that the Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The hamburger.
I've been watching them
phone.
on TikTok. Like I was saying, they
I
have
love
behind
Ed
the,
Robertson.
They have
He's
behind
great.
the scenes. Yeah, it's great.
They've been doing like recordings all in their homes and then combining them, which has been kind of fun. I am also a big classic rock guy. Pink Floyd's probably my favorite there. And then I'm going to throw in a more recent one. Every time I come back to their albums, I'm just like, it's like rediscovering them. And that's Alkaline Trio. I never get sick of that band.
Very nice.
Yeah, my Spotify playlist is boy bands, hip hop, crooning, and pop punk basically most of the time. So yeah, NSYNC, Frank Sinatra, and then 80s hair bands and stuff. So I don't really have I guess NSYNC if I had a gun in my head.
Scorpions.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Yeah, favorite movie.
Yes, I do have a favorite movie. It's unsurprisingly a Hayao Miyazaki film. And I hate to do this.
You gonna steal mine?
No, I'm not going to go Princess Mononoke.
Okay.
'Cause- what?
Nothing. Just you guys. Continue.
No, it's Spirited Away. Although I agree with Ken, I think Princess Mononoke might be the better film.
Favorite movie, Neil?
I don't really have a favorite movie,
Roadhouse. Moving on.
but I'll be on brand today. Yeah, I'll be
right.
on brand today. I'll say Roadhouse today.
All right. My favorite movie is, as you heard, Princess Mononoke.
A classic.
It is, actually. My bands, I'm going to go with the band I listen to the most, which is He Is Legend, a metal band. Love them.
Oh, they're so good.
I have a tattoo for Sigur Rós, so I'll say them. And a little Chicago flavor, Lawrence Arms.
No Converge?
And Converge.
Going with the Larry Arms. My favorite movie, Rocky. I watch Rocky all the time. It's probably a favorite movie for sure. Favorite bands, I think bands I've spent the most time listening to is probably Fall Out Boy, Motion City Soundtrack, and Alkaline Trio is probably going to round out that trio, I suppose.
Nice.
We all have
Great.
very similar pop punk tastes, I believe, for a lot of us.
Matt and I, we got to see a great Fall Out Boy concert after the Nike Human Race.
Yeah, that was my first race ever. We ran a 10K that ended at Soldier Field, and then Fall Out Boy was just there and playing, and basically no one else knew who they were except us, I feel like.
It was great.
Any more questions on that list?
Well, my favorite movie, not that you guys asked, is
We're so rude. We're bad hosts.
is Almost Famous.
Great movie.
I love that movie, but I'm gonna have to check out Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
And also Spirited Away has been on my Letterboxd list forever, so I will have to watch that finally. And then as far as favorite bands, I think Ben Folds 5 is probably it.
If you have HBO Max for some weird reason, all of the Miyazaki films are on there.
I have it.
There you go.
I check it out. All right. Next question from Nick Masticero.
Oh, our newest Patreon member, I believe.
Thank
Yes.
you, Nick.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. Thank you. Yeah.
Very good looking, Nick Masticero. Okay. Has there been a Harry Potter bonus theme quiz yet? If not, please sign me up, or I can always help draft the quiz.
There was a Triwizard tournament. We did it about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
More than that, I would say. I think that was very early in our
About
career.
a year in, so.
Yeah, I think before we refined our tournament style, I think we could probably definitely bring it back as a tournament with bringing on 8 to 10 people again and do it. And I know there'd be interest. If you're interested, why don't you just comment on the spoiler thread and just let us know if you're interested in Harry Potter.
Let's do another.
We'll do another. Yeah.
That's the only episodes I haven't listened to from you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Literally, I think.
So nice,
But-
Kendall.
But I will listen. I will listen, especially if Nick is on it.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding. I really can't see his picture, but it looks like he's
The
nice.
thing I remember about that one is that Neil and I were playing as a layman team,
That's right.
and we just got destroyed.
Yeah, we did.
You
'cause
did better than expected, though, if I remember right.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, better than you deserve.
we got over 0. That's for sure.
All right, looks like there's one more. So let's get to that final question.
Final question is from Elliot Kuchera. What were some of the goals, if any, that you all set for the show when you first started, and how have they changed over time? I'll start. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. What were your goals for our show?
You've met all my goals.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
We had no goals, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had goals. I think.
I mean, at the very inception of the podcast, we didn't really have anything formalized. We kind of had an idea what we wanted for the show, kind of the format and pretty basic stuff like runtime and kind of the feel but yeah, we learned a lot pretty quickly as far as like what worked, what didn't work. I mean, some of those early episodes were pretty rough, but
Yeah, I would say our main goal when we started was to make a good
to make a decent
trivia
show.
that
Yeah.
that's like compact and kind of like quick and funny, and then
Doesn't take itself too seriously.
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, with a lack of seriousness, maybe a little bit of knowledge. I don't know. We kind of
These
put
kinds
that
of
together.
things, yeah.
As far as like what we were gonna do with it after that point, I mean, I don't think did any of us really know in 6 months what this was going to look
I mean,
like.
I think on the outset, due to especially mine and Neil's background, we thought we could gather at least a moderate audience to listen to it.
Yeah.
But I think we would all say that it's by far exceeded our expectation.
Oh, I would agree with that.
And
100%.
at this point, we're just going to keep on pushing as far as we can. I know, just speaking for myself, I'd like to spend more time doing this as opposed to other sort of normal career sort of things. So definitely moving more in a professional direction.
And
That's our goal.
That's entirely possible. We've come a lot farther than I thought we would with the support of our patrons, which has been really a blessing for the show. I don't know if it would have been possible to keep doing the show without it. And listeners, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us. Sometimes I'm sure we're annoying, or you're like, why didn't they get that question right the third time?
Yeah, I think it's the community engagement, just the fact that there is a community now that's been growing of people that we may not have met in person, which is pretty surreal, talking to us all the time, or people that we did get to meet in person, whether it was at an event.
I never thought we would. I thought we would know everyone who listened to our show because they were our friends.
Right.
No, I never thought we would actually meet people and make friends.
I think the coolest thing is being able to like build that culture where it's like, oh, that's a Triviality listener. Like, especially when you get certain questions, you're like, okay, I get it. You guys like Space Jam. We can cool on the Space Jam questions. But we do appreciate them. We love all of them. But
And if you go just from Geek Bowl as a sort of a measure, I mean, when we went to Geek Bowl in Boston, we wanted to do a little event. We didn't think anyone would come. I think we had 16 or 18 people, which was sort of just insane just to see that. And then the next year in Vegas, we got the pleasure of meeting Kendall and Amanda and a bunch of other people, and it even grew larger than that. And then this year in Chicago, I mean, I think there was 300 people there.
The combined podcast blowout.
Yeah, and so it's just it's pretty crazy. It's still weird getting messages about people saying, "Oh, this was a funny thing you said," or I can't believe you liked this thing that I like," and we forget that we said it on the show. So it's just great that we can try and put out the best content that we can. And it's for you, it's for the listener, which is most important. And at the end of the day, we love putting out trivia content. We don't care about winning. We just care that your listening experience is superb.
Yeah,
So.
but it is really an honor. We get emails and messages from people that are really, really touching. We had one recently. I won't name who it was, but I mean, it like made my whole week. It just kind of hit me in that right spot. And it's nice to know that what we do means more than just the fact that it's a trivia show. But yeah, I mean, if hopefully we keep growing and more people start listening, and we're going to keep doing it as long as people want it, and as long as we're having fun doing it. And
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. So
What a nice little bow on this episode, huh, Matt?
Really ties it all together. Again, listener supported show. We really appreciate all the patrons who support us. And if you'd love to, keep getting these kinds of episodes every month, just join us over at patreon.com/Triviality Podcast. At just the $5 level, you get these episodes every month. And now you're getting 2 bonus episodes every month. So if you're thinking, I need to hear these guys every day of my life, this is the opportunity for you. We're putting out so much content. There's like 40 bonus episodes already. So come check us out. Thank you, Kendall, for being on this episode and asking those questions and pronouncing everyone's name perfectly. I'm sure they won't tell you it was wrong in the comments at all.
I got no one's name wrong.
Perfect. All right. And thanks again to Neil, Ken, and Jeff. My name is Matt, and that was this month's Crop Drop Triviality bonus episode.